The Chicago Bears franchise right now seems to be in self-destruct mode. All I see is nuke after nuke going off down there in the Windy City. You got Justin Fields calling out the coaches. So during his Wednesday press conference, right, he said that he felt a little robotic and sometimes the coaches kind of feeding him a little bit too much information. It could be too much for him to take in because he's a perfectionist. He wants everything to be perfect. And basically, his comments were taken out of context just a tad bit by the media. People made it seem like he was taking major jabs at the head coaching staff and offensive coordinator Luke Getsy. All he was saying is that, hey, like, I want to be me. These coaches, yes, they are in charge of running the team. I do have to listen to what they say, but at the same time, they're kind of hindering me from doing what I do best. Let me be me. And he basically said in that press conference that against the Kansas City Chiefs, he will be him, and he doesn't really care what anybody else thinks. And here's the thing with everybody saying that Justin Fields is wrong for calling out the coaching staff. I agree with his comments. And even though he probably had to apologize for him, you see, sometimes when you take things public, that's the only time when people will actually listen. You see, if you keep everything behind closed doors, these coaches, they're so stubborn to the point that they may not change. But if they start getting a lot of backlash from the media and people start getting wind of this, maybe they could kind of start to see what the issue is and why they need to take into account what the player is saying. And I think any good head coach should always listen to input from their players. Andy Reid has a special day in practice where the Kansas City Chiefs help draw out plays and things like that. If Matt Eberflus wants to survive as the head coach in Chicago, I do think that he needs to listen to the input that Justin Fields is suggesting. It's dumb to make Justin Fields try to be something that he's not. He's not a pocket passer. And that's kind of what he was alluding to in the press conference, kind of indirectly. They're trying to make me do something that I'm really not. Yeah, you do have to be able to throw the football from inside the pocket, but you also have to be able to get outside the pocket and extend plays when things break down. Justin Fields' strong suit is not being able to dissect your defense from inside the pocket. He's not Tom Brady. You have to utilize his God-given ability, which is his rushing ability. I think it's idiotic that Luke Getsy and his coaching staff are putting into Justin Fields' head that he needs to be more of a pocket passer when that's not his strengths. He's never going to be a great passer from inside the pocket. And there's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't mean that he's not going to be capable to be a successful quarterback. He's able to throw from within the pocket to some degree of success. He's just not Tom Brady with it. And that's okay. Every player is different. You got to win games, putting your players in a situation that utilizes their strengths, not showcasing their weaknesses. You trying to make Justin Fields a pocket passer is stupid as hell because you're putting his weaknesses on full display. He's not great at processing defenses. He overlooks wide open wide receivers. So why would you try to force this guy to become a pocket passer? It's stupid and it's retarded. I agree with Justin Fields' statements to call out the coaching staff, even if he got in trouble for it. So what? You want these players to be honest? You want them to tell it how it is? Justin Fields, yeah, he did come back and apologize for his comments, but they were kind of taken a little bit out of context. I don't think he said anything that was outrageous that should get Matt Eberflus and Luke Getsy upset at him, where he comes into the coaching office and they got to cuss him out. You need to use Justin Fields in a way that allows him to showcase his strengths. He is one of the best rushing quarterbacks to ever play in the NFL. Even though he hasn't played in the league for all that long, in the few years that he's been the starter for Chicago, there aren't too many quarterbacks that have the rushing ability that Justin Fields has. Now, outside of Justin Fields calling out the coaches, we got some more serious things going on with this franchise. Alan Williams, served as the defensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears. Out of nowhere last night, he issued a statement saying that he was resigning, mental health, wants to look after his family, and all that. And it sounded good. It was like, okay, like the dude just wants to step away from football to focus on himself and his family. That's cool. Well, we had some more details that came out, and he wasn't just resigning just because he was trying to focus on himself. Apparently, the FBI raided his house. This report was initially turned down, and his lawyer said that it wasn't true that his house got raided. Well, earlier today on the Pat McAfee show, Pat McAfee came out and he doubled down and said that his house was indeed raided by the FBI. And Pat McAfee, he even said that, they've came out and they've had to fight against lawsuits and whatnot. So when Pat McAfee comes out and he makes a statement or claim like that, I tend to believe him more times than not, because he isn't somebody who just makes shit up just for the hell of it. He doesn't need to make up fake news and fake headlines for clicks. It's Pat freaking McAfee, man. Most of us love Pat McAfee. So Alan Williams, he resigns after his house gets raided. And who knows why his house got raided. There are a lot of allegations to why the FBI had to go and raid his house. We're not going to get into it because those things haven't been confirmed at all. All we can do is speculate. I don't really want to get into the speculation on that, but you got Justin Fields calling out the coaches. You got your defensive coordinator stepping down earlier in the season. Matt Eberflus taking over play calling. I think the good thing about Alan Williams stepping down is that I don't really think it's a loss losing him, because this defense played like shit under him anyway. So the defense can only get better with Matt Eberflus taking over the play calling. Hell, maybe he should have did that a lot earlier. We're going to see how improved this defense looks with Matt Eberflus play calling. And then another major dagger to the Bears franchise. We're not finished, people. We got one more big heavy blow that we got to talk about that's been delivered to the Bears. They don't have a left tackle anymore. Their starting left tackle, Braxton Jones, has been placed on IR with a neck injury, and there's no timetable for his return. He also joins fellow offensive lineman Tevin Jenkins on IR as well. So the Bears, their offensive line is down their starting left tackle. They lost their DC. Justin Fields is calling out the coaches. All hell is breaking loose with the Chicago Bears, man. Everything that could have went wrong for the Chicago Bears this season has gone wrong up to this point. They're 0-2. They're probably going to fall to 0-3 once they lose to Kansas City this Sunday. Things just aren't looking good for the Chicago Bears, man.